Hello, and welcome to Stud's Side Notes. Today, I wanted to talk about staying healthy while playing fighting games, or just any game in general, to be honest, but specifically, I wanted to talk about mental and hand health while playing fighting games. So, as anybody who's watched my stuff knows, I spent the last nearly 2 weeks going through and making a combo video. And up to that point, my execution in Them's Fighting Herds was pretty minimal. I had created one decent bread and butter combo that I was using, and that was pretty much my go-to for all situations. And it was starting to get in the way of my game plan. So the big two issues were that the combo would often side switch at the very end of the combo. So I would drag the opponent almost all the way to the corner, and then I would swap sides with that opponent, and suddenly I would place myself in the corner. And we had finally gotten to a point where that was starting to heavily damage my game plan with Oleander, and it needed to change. So that was one of them. The other one was that my standard combo used a ground bounce, and if I use it in the middle of the combo instead of near the end of the combo or at the very end, I can only get one magic off of a sweep, but I can get two magic off of a ground bounce ender. So I needed to come up with combos that were allowing me to get more magic, because that's a big part of the game plan that I was starting to realize I was missing as well. So in order to help out with that and still make something fun and video, I decided to make a combo video. There's not very many of those out for Oleander and just this game in general, and there were none that I could find for 2.0. So I made one, and it was super fun, but it was also super taxing. So a lot of those combos are pretty standard, easy, simple combos. They took me, maybe 1 or 2 minutes to get the way that I wanted them so that I could show them off in the video. And that was no problem. 1 or 2 minutes to get 10-ish seconds worth of footage is quite good for a combo video. But there were several that I either had to come up with myself because I'd never seen them before, such as the air throw combo. Never seen an Oleander get a full conversion off of her air throw. Or the entire meter game combo. I had never seen an Oleander get an entire meter and then summon Fred off of a single combo. So I had to come up with those myself, and then I had to execute them. And some of them are quite difficult. So I was getting to a point where it was very obvious that I had started on the path of a repetitive stress injury, the beginnings of carpal tunnel. Because you can feel it. You can feel it coming on, and you know that it's happening before it gets to a point where you have to seek help for it. And let's start there. So some of those combos took me hours to be able to get, especially the one that goes into Fred. I wanted Fred to say a specific line, so not only was that combo incredibly difficult, I think it has 7 links in it, but I also needed Fred, RNG, to say the line that I wanted for the combo video. And then same thing with the win at the end, or I wanted Oleander to say a specific win line at the end of a very difficult combo for me personally to execute. And that meant I was spending hours and hours and hours trying to do a 10-second combo repetitively over and over and over again. And obviously, I got the combo video out and then didn't post any videos at all for several days. And the reason is simple. I needed to give my hands a rest. I could tell, when you feel that like tingling or whatever you want to call it, the fry in your forearms or your wrists, and then you go to sleep and you wake up the next morning and it's still there, that's when you know you need to take a break. And the difference between like having to go get a wrist brace and not being able to play fighting games for the next 6 to 12 months and then having to be more careful afterwards, and just being able to come over here and talk about how to stay healthy, is like the 3 days of rest that I gave myself. If I had played or tried to get harder combos into my video to make a better combo video for those 3 days, I could easily have gotten to a point where there was no recourse. I would have had to just stop. But instead, you see it, you feel it, you're like, all right, I need to stop. I need to give my hands a break. Just do that. Just give your hands a break. Just even if you're really feeling the game, give yourself a break. It's good to give yourself a break, not only for your hands, as we just mentioned, but also mentally, because your brain takes a while to process things. That's why we have to sleep, but it doesn't always process them all, in a day or even within a week or two. Sometimes you have to keep something for longer than that. And obviously, we had a couple of things that we were going through that feel like they should be easier than they are for me, and they were getting frustrating. And one of them was rebeat combos. I was trying to get Oleander's anti-air into a combo for like a week, and it was not happening. And I'm just like, my hands are not used to having to deal with not used to having to deal with the like going backwards in the middle of a combo. That wasn't really a thing I had to deal with, right? In Smash Brothers, you've only got 2 buttons, and you're usually using one or the other. It's like the A button for everything. So there was no like going backwards most of the time. And then there's a couple characters who you hit the B button or the A button, but like those were hard for me too back in the day, and there's only 2 buttons. So doing a rebeat back to A, not my cup of tea. And I can actually do it a whole lot better now that I spent a week doing like combos that really didn't have anything to do with that and just relaxing. I'm actually better at it now after having taken a break than I think I would have been if I had tried to just smash my head against it for another week after that. And I'm not frustrated with it. You come back. Oh, that's a nice little Midna thing, isn't it? You come back and suddenly you just do things better. Like, I don't know if you've ever experienced that, but I feel like most people who have played a fighting game or any kind of game that requires that kind of executional skill, you realize, or even sometimes just mental skill, you come back in a week and you realize, wow, I'm actually like way better at this thing. I just needed to take a break, come back, and do better, right? And whether it's beating a boss in Dark Souls or what have you, you just do better. And there's Raven. Wow, nice. And you just do better by waiting. Is that supposed to be Arthas? All right. So, like, at this point in time, you get to have a little bit of fun, do some other stuff. Remember that there's a world out there beyond fighting games. And then when you come back, it's another breath of fresh air. You can remember and appreciate why you love these games and how come you got into them in the first place. And it helps to keep you from burning out. And I think that that's very important. Is that supposed to be from Dresden Files? I don't even know. But it helps you to just continue being able to appreciate and enjoy little things that maybe you missed or didn't really care about or think about when you were playing before. And it just keeps you engaged. It makes it so that you can keep enjoying and playing the game instead of playing for 3 to 4 weeks like we did, burning out, and then that's it. You're done. You're not enjoying it anymore. And by just taking that little bit of time, Elfie, you're able to just appreciate everything again. And you don't burn yourself out. You don't get to a point where you're just not having fun anymore. Or at the very least, you get there a whole lot slower, even if you're playing a whole lot more. And that's really important for getting better and just being able to enjoy things in general. Like, I want to get better. That's one of my big goals here for this whole blog and everything I'm doing, making all these YouTube videos, is I want to improve. I want to be able to go to tournaments, because we're at a point where within a month or two, we're probably going to be seeing locals starting to spout up again. We're going to start seeing people start making plans for regionals and nationals again. We're going to be able to see each other again and play fighting games and still be in a world that understands now that you need rollback netcode in your game, so we'll still be able to play online and have fun there too. And that's a big deal for me. And I want to be able to come back into this and be a competitor, because, at the point in time when we started, I wasn't really. Like, I was getting beaten by my friend who doesn't play this game. like probably 70-30 he was beating me. And now it's very close to 50-50 already just in those 3 weeks we played. Obviously, I haven't played for the last week and a half, but I'm going to start again, and I'm excited about it, and my hands feel good, and all it took was a little break. Thank you for listening. Going to start doing some of the more regularly scheduled content now that everything is back in order, and I hope to see you there.